Welcome to Shore Perspectives, a community feature of WESR Radio, highlighting the spirit of the shore from those who call it home.
My name is Peg Volk, and I've hosted the first Wednesday open mic since 2004, the first Wednesday of each month, and it has run continuously in spite of COVID. We've gone virtual this past couple of years, and but it's a association that I've been able to create and also enjoy and be exposed to a community of incredibly creative people on the shore. We just celebrated, in fact, this week is our 18th anniversary. My late husband, Chris, and I moved here onto the shore from Cleveland, Ohio in 1995. One of the things that we both enjoyed in Cleveland was going to a music venue, a club or whatever, and, you know, like a listening room where you would hear, you know, jazz or folk or something like that. There really wasn't anything here. The Trawler had bands, and they were great and fun and rocking it out, and it was great for dancing and stuff. But because I was aspiring and amateur singer-songwriter, I wanted to find a place not only to play, but to hear other people play. We got exposed and introduced to the ESO, Eastern Shore Zone Arts Center up in Belhaven. And they have that little cabaret room, and we were able to go there and hear some wonderful people up close and personal. We started volunteering there, and Sally Stewart and James Bird, who were the co-directors, they came up with the idea to do a shore-made music festival. So Chris and I volunteered to help, and one of my jobs was they gave me a list to line up musicians, to reach out and line up musicians. So I was so excited because I didn't know any of these people, and there was no place that they were really playing. So we all kind of connected, and I met them, and of course we all played at the music festival. And so then I was trying to find someone else to run an open mic. And Robin Smith opened the Chesapeake Bistro in Cape Charles. He was saying he wanted live music there. I kind of got the idea, so I pitched it to him. I said, well, I know you want weekend music, but how about, you know, doing an open mic? He agreed. He was very, very accommodating. Started off in the dead of winter, January 7th, 2004. In those days, Cape Charles was a very sleepy little town. In those dark winter nights, the only light in town was coming out of the Chesapeake. It was really kind of funny. Even those first few times, there were more performers than audience, you know. Chris was the world's greatest roadie. He carried the sound system each month, and we got it up there and everything. Slowly but surely, different people started showing up, and then different people in the audience would start coming back. And then the word just started spreading. Soon enough, we had an incredible event happening every month. It was so exciting because, you know, an open mic, you never know who's going to walk through the door. You never know what's going to go on. You don't know who's going to show up. And so many people showed up that we never saw again. You know, they would come in and they would perform because they were visiting in town or something. They'd knock us all out, and then we'd never see them again. But they all made an impression and a mark, and we all feel like we found our tribe. Poet Sin showed up in November of 2006. She knocked the room out completely with her incredibly profound and exciting and fun poetry. She had one especially that she was dedicated to Denzel. And then Lady V, you know, this wonderful local jazz lady, she showed up in September of 2005. Scott and Melinda, they showed up in August of 2007. Of course, they knocked the room out too. The two of them looked like, you know, a couple of librarians, no aspersions to librarians, but when the blues came out of her mouth and his guitar, it was just like, holy mackerel, you know? And we've all become great friends. Lynn Rogers was there right from the beginning. She and I had started playing together as the Myrtles. Brian Erminger was there the first night. Chris Chandler was there the first night. And Amy and Rich Wagner, who have since gone, but they were here early on in Cape Charles. We were the five, and I think there were like, you know, 4 audience, Chris and a few friends. But as I said, that kind of grew. Bonds were formed and bands were formed. We all started collaborating and creating together. I had first billed it as original music night because I'm aspiring. I like, just do songwriting. So I was looking for original music for people to do. But then someone mentioned that, Peg, all music is original, and we shouldn't keep it into that parameter, So as a result, of course, it opened up to everything. So we had just wonderful. We had Julius Ames, this young kid playing jazz on the keyboard, this young fellow Byron, who was a poet. Michelle McClay was our first stand-up comedian. We were there about 5 years, and then we had an opportunity to move it up to the Great Machipongo Clam Shack. Roger and Jean both set up a beautiful room for us. Roger had a stage put in, and he also set up a sound system there with lights and everything. So Chris was delighted because he didn't have to lug that, stereo equipment around anymore. He had done that enough. Roger's sister Muff, she made these cute tablecloths for the tables, and Sandy McFall, she made all these little candles, table pieces and things. It was like an explosion because so many people could not make it down to Cape Charles on a Wednesday night, from Accomack. Once we got to the Clam Shack, it just was amazing how many more performers showed up and how many more audience showed up. And it just kind of exploded into an amazing event every month. So many people traveling north and south would stop in, and they'd be so taken by surprise, like what was going on. And some of those travelers would, they'd say, if I could borrow a guitar, I'd love to get up and do a song. We were like, absolutely, get up here. Then COVID hit, and so we went virtual. And we've been kind of limping along virtually, but it's been great. And again, it's kept me fresh too. I try to keep doing an original song every time. The website, or I guess it's a website on Facebook, is OneST, so like First Wednesday ESVA. That's the place on Facebook. That day, you just download a video, and I just share it onto the main page. And it's from 7 to 9 p.m. on the first Wednesday of each month. Anybody, they can certainly send in their offerings, and would love to be able to share them. And they can go there now because these videos all stay there. So they could go there now and see a sampling of the kinds of things that have been contributed over this past, since April of 2020. And they'll get an idea of the kinds of community that we are, and the kinds of music and, as I say, different offerings that have made their way to the screen. Music touches us, like you say, in a very unique way. It's a very emotional connection, and it touches the emotion and the soul of us, I think, is really what happens. One of my first experiences years back was going into the Alzheimer's ward with the guitar. And these poor people were just sitting there, really just disparately sitting there at different tables, not interacting, just, of course, in their own worlds. And I just kind of came in and had my guitar and said, oh, hi, we're going to play some songs here. And a lot of the old songs, the American Songbook, Duke Ellington, Cole Porter, things like that, And so I broke into some of those songs, and I was just stunned personally to see the awakening within these people that were just before that moment lost in their own thoughts, and all of a sudden it just brought them to life in a way that they weren't, experiencing their moment. And they started engaging with each other and singing the songs. I mean, they sang those songs, they knew the words, now that's some deep connection. And this was the music of their life. There's that term, the music of your life. And it's usually that music of when we're teenagers on into maybe our 20s or something, that is like the music of our soul. And it just was such a lesson for me to see that kind of an impact. And I just broadened my own understanding of how much music touches us that we cannot know.
For Shore Perspectives and WESR Radio, I'm Kelley Gaskell.